I call the member for Bowman.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. A question for the Minister for Social Services. Will the minister update the House on what the government's done to make it easier for families to get into work, stay in work or work more?
Good question.
I call the Minister for Social Services.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Bowman for his question, because I know he'd be very pleased to know that since the last election, more than 170,000 more women are now in work than at the time of the last election, more than 170,000. And we know, Mr Speaker, that more women and more families want to be in work, and they want to work more, and they want to have more days in work, Mr Speaker. And we know that, and that is why we have crafted a package of some $3.5 billion to ensure that families can have access to more affordable childcare, more affordable access to quality childcare, Mr Speaker. And that includes $30 extra a fortnight, $30 extra a week in support that would see them better access that affordable childcare, Mr Speaker. And it means removing the cap on middle to low-income families so they can access that childcare, and it means better support for families with children with disabilities so they can access that childcare. And we also know, Mr Speaker, that
member for Greenway.
Affordable childcare needs to be affordable for the taxpayer. It needs to be affordable for the taxpayer, Mr Speaker, and those opposite don't seem to understand that. They're happy to shovel the money out the door, but they're not happy to commit to the savings that are necessary to fund their policies. As a result, the opposition's policy on childcare is a vapour. It is an absolute vapour because it's not funded. By alternative, Mr Speaker, what those opposite did when they were in government, where we've put forward a policy for affordable childcare, what they did, Mr Speaker, is they had a $300 million fund to enable the childcare centres who signed up with United Voice and other workers and other unions, Mr Speaker, to get the dollars. Mr Speaker. So a $300 million fund, and they signed it off on the day before the election, and they put it out so the unions got around $70 million, Mr Speaker. This is what there is not a payment that the government provides that those opposite wouldn't use to butter up their union mates. But I'll tell you this, Mr Speaker, this government, this Prime Minister, this side of the House will never be bullied by unions and will never be bought by unions.
I call the Prime Minister.